Alright, y'all, hear me out, because what I'm about to walk you through is the single most delusional thing that has happened in hip-hop this entire year, and I'm saying that after everything, after every meltdown, after every ridiculous stream fabrication, after every Drake stan Twitter thread that reads like a hostage note. This one right here, this clip, this scene, this act of pure sidewalk warfare, it lives on a different planet. And before we get 1 inch deeper, do your boy a favor, hit that subscribe button, hit that little bell, and let's go, because you are not going to believe the footage that just leaked out of Toronto tonight. Now look, where I want to start with this is the fact that Kendrick Lamar, over 2 years after the fact, is still living rent-free in the deepest chambers of the Drake fan brain, and that alone is a scientific miracle. 2 years. 2 entire calendar years since the beef ended, since the receipts were printed, since the stadium in Toronto sold out for the man they said couldn't step foot in the city. And still, some of these Drake loyalists are out here, in public, in 2026, in the year of our Lord, treating a Kendrick song playing through a portable speaker like it's a declaration of war on their bloodline. This is not fandom anymore. This is a diagnosable condition. And tonight, one of them finally got the full clinical treatment, live, on camera, and it might be the single most humbling piece of footage this beef has produced. Now here's the thing, and I need you to sit with this for a second, because the moment I saw this video pop up on hip-hop clips, I knew we were entering rarefied territory. A Drake fan in Toronto, in downtown Toronto, walked up on a group of people, a completely peaceful crowd, minding their business, playing music out of a Bluetooth speaker. The song? Kendrick Lamar. That was the entire crime. That was the offense. That was the trigger. And this Drake devotee, this self-appointed audio deputy, this sidewalk marshal of streaming preferences, walked over, grabbed the speaker, and threw it, launched it, sent it airborne like it personally insulted his mother. And here is where the routine turns, because Toronto, the actual city, the actual people, the actual streets, did not respond the way he thought they would. You want to know the punchline? He got dragged. Not metaphorically. Not on Twitter. Not in the comments. Physically dragged. In the street. In front of everyone. And I'm going to walk you through every frame, every beat, every second of this, because there is a lesson buried inside this footage that I don't think a single person on the Drake side of the internet has actually processed yet. Let me set the scene. Toronto, night, downtown, a small crowd, a portable speaker, Kendrick Lamar playing at reasonable volume. Normal, right? Normal for any city in North America. Normal for any Friday night. Normal for any human being with functioning ears. But not for this guy. This guy, this Drake Avenger, this OVO first responder, sees the speaker, hears the song, and something snaps in his brain that most of us cannot even imagine. He walks up. He confronts them. He starts yelling. Who's playing Kendrick? Who dared? Who authorized? And the whole time, if you listen closely, if you actually tune your ears in, you can hear the shake in his voice, the tremor of a man who has spent 2 years absorbing Drake's paranoia through his headphones and finally decided to weaponize it in real life. Then the speaker goes flying. And here's the thing, and I want you to really pay attention here, because this is the exact moment where the routine breaks. The moment the speaker hits the ground, the crowd shifts. The energy flips. The temperature drops. Because Toronto, the actual Toronto, is not the Toronto that lives in the Drake stan Twitter timeline. The actual Toronto knows every single lyric to Not Like Us. The actual Toronto packed a stadium for Kendrick Lamar not once, but twice. The actual Toronto has quietly, over the last 2 years, migrated its loyalty in a way that Drake's team is either too proud or too scared to acknowledge. And when this speaker-smashing crusader realized what city he was actually standing in, it was already too late. They descended on him. And I mean descended. Like a wave. Like a verdict. Like every single one of those Kendrick fans had been waiting for a Drake fan to try something exactly like this, and this poor soul volunteered as the sacrificial offering. You can see it in the footage, the exact half-second where his posture changes, where the swagger drains out of his shoulders, where his eyes finally scan the crowd and register the math. He is one Drake fan. They are many. And the many are done being polite about it. This is the moment the entire Toronto stan mythology collapses in on itself, in real time, in one frame of footage, and it is going to be studied for years by anyone paying attention to what fan warfare actually looks like when it steps off the timeline and into a street. And another thing I need y'all to catch, because most people are going to breeze past this, is how quickly the phones came out. Because that is the modern receipt system, right there. Nobody in that crowd was thinking about intervening, nobody was thinking about pulling anybody apart. Everybody, and I mean everybody, reached for a camera. Which means this speaker smasher's beatdown was not just physical. It was archived. It was catalogued. It was mirrored across every platform before the guy even hit the pavement. He is not just the man who got dragged in Toronto tonight. He is the man who got dragged in perpetuity, forever, on every For You page, in every group chat, on every commentary channel, for as long as the internet exists. There is no coming back from that kind of documentation. The saxophone made it cinema, but the phones made it eternal. Now here's what makes this even funnier, and I need you to catch this, because hip-hop clips picked up on it too. There is a saxophone. In the background of the beatdown. A saxophone. Someone, somewhere in Toronto, is playing a jazz saxophone while a Drake fan gets tumbled in the street for smashing a Kendrick speaker. This is not a real event. This is a Coen Brothers scene. This is cinema. This is the universe writing comedy in real time, and I do not know who that saxophone player is, but he deserves an Emmy, a Grammy, and a key to the city. But I want to zoom out for a second, because there is a bigger thing happening here, and it is way, way bigger than one speaker, one fight, one Drake devotee getting hit with the Toronto welcome package. What we are watching, what this clip is actually showing us, is the physical, real-world, in-the-street manifestation of what I have been calling for months now, speaker sentinel syndrome. That is my working diagnosis. That is my clinical term. Speaker sentinel syndrome. A condition, observed almost exclusively in the Drake fan population, in which the sufferer becomes so emotionally destabilized by the mere sound of Kendrick Lamar's voice that they lose control of their motor functions, their common sense, and in some cases, their ability to survive a public confrontation. It is real. It is spreading. And tonight, we caught a stage 4 case live on video. Because ask yourself, and be honest, when was the last time you saw a Kendrick fan run up on someone for playing Drake? Think about it. Think hard. When was the last time a group of Compton kids surrounded a stranger because they heard one dance echo out of a car window? It doesn't happen. It has never happened. It will never happen. Because Kendrick fans are secure. Kendrick fans are settled. Kendrick fans have already won and they know it, so they can afford to be quiet. But the Drake fan, especially in 2026, especially after Iceman, especially after every stream number gets audited and every playlist chart gets exposed, the Drake fan is a raw nerve. A raw, exposed, throbbing nerve. And every Kendrick song that plays in public is a hammer coming down on that nerve. That is what you saw tonight in Toronto. A raw nerve made human. And let me put this in the sharpest possible terms, because I don't want anybody to miss the point. Confidence is silent. Insecurity is loud. Confidence walks past a speaker playing a rival artist and keeps it moving. Insecurity walks up, plants its feet, and starts a war it cannot finish. Tonight in Toronto, we did not just see one Drake fan lose one fight. We saw the entire posture of a fan base exposed in a single 10-second clip. And that is the kind of exposure you cannot spin your way out of, no matter how many streams you fake, no matter how many deluxe versions you drop, no matter how many podcast alliances you buy. The street footage always tells the truth, and tonight the street footage told a story the OVO camp desperately did not want told. Now let me talk about this Iceman era for a second, because I think it's connected. I really do. When Drake dropped Iceman back in May, his fan base got exactly what they had been begging for, a full-length album, 20-plus tracks, aimed like a laser at Kendrick Lamar. They got the dices. They got the shots. They got the receipts they said Kendrick was too scared to answer. And what happened? Kendrick said nothing. Not a word. Not a tweet. Not a hint. Just silence. And that silence, that patient, glacial, city-block-wide silence, has been quietly driving Drake's fan base into a public breakdown for months. Because deep down they know what silence means. Silence, from an artist of Kendrick's caliber, is not surrender. Silence is a countdown clock. And every day that clock ticks, the Drake stan gets 1 degree more unstable. Tonight in Toronto, we saw one of those degrees break the surface. Here's the thing that really gets me though. This dude, whoever he is, this speaker smasher, this OVO commando, has to walk into work on Monday and explain the black eye. He has to sit across from his girl and tell her the truth. She's going to ask, "Baby, what happened to your face?" And he is going to have to say, out loud, in 2026, over 2 years after the beef, that he got jumped in downtown Toronto for smashing a Bluetooth speaker because it was playing Kendrick Lamar. Say that sentence out loud right now. Say it. Feel how ridiculous it sounds coming out of your own mouth. That is his Monday morning. That is his rest of the year. That is his origin story from now until forever. He is that guy now. Permanently. There is no undoing that. And Drake, let me be crystal clear about this, Drake is not calling him. Drake is not visiting the hospital. Drake is not sending flowers. Drake is not paying the bail. Drake does not know this man's name, has never seen his face, and would not recognize him if he walked up to him in a Toronto Raptors jersey holding a signed copy of Iceman. That is the tragedy inside the comedy of this clip. This guy just took a full physical beating for a millionaire artist who does not know he exists. And that, right there, is the receipt on this entire generation of parasocial fan warfare. But let me get back to the play, because we need to keep our eyes on the whole picture. What this clip proves, what it locks in evidentially, is that Toronto is not the Drake stronghold that his team wants you to think it is. And I have been saying this for months. Drake has taken Toronto for granted. Drake has spent the last 2 years treating his own city like a merchandise store, and Kendrick, from 3,000 miles away, walked in and won a chunk of it without breaking a sweat. Selling out that stadium was not a favor Toronto did for Kendrick. It was a signal. It was a message. It was Toronto quietly saying, "We hear you, we see you, we are not owned." And every subsequent Kendrick song that plays out of a speaker in a Toronto neighborhood is that message being repeated, day after day, night after night. This Drake fan tonight, when he threw that speaker, he was not just attacking a device. He was attacking the message. And the city responded to the attack the way any city responds when its unspoken loyalty gets challenged in public. It answered back. Now look, I want to address something in the comments, because I saw this pop up already, and it's important. Some people are saying the guy who allegedly took credit for beating up the speaker smasher is not actually the guy. Somebody messaged Hip Hop Clip saying, "It was me, I knocked him out." And then a bunch of other people said, "That's not him, y'all are being played." Fine. Whatever. Let me tell you why it does not matter. It does not matter who threw the punches. It matters that the punches got thrown. It matters that a crowd descended. It matters that a speaker got smashed in the first place. Because the moment the speaker left this guy's hand, the fight was already lost, whether or not he personally caught the follow-up beating. He lost the argument. He lost the block. He lost the city. And if you're a Drake fan watching this footage, you have to understand, that was your ambassador. That was your representative in the field. That was your foreign policy in downtown Toronto tonight. And it failed. It failed catastrophically. Here's the thing that nobody in the OVO camp wants to admit. Every time a Drake fan does something like this, every time one of them crashes out in a public setting over a Kendrick song, they are not helping Drake. They are cementing him. They are locking his legacy into a specific, narrow, embarrassing corner of the culture. They are turning Drake, in real time, into the artist whose entire fanbase identity is anti-Kendrick. Not pro-Drake. Anti-Kendrick. There is a difference. There is a massive difference. A pro-Drake fan base would be quietly enjoying Iceman right now, quoting the bars, streaming the deep cuts, showing up to shows in matching outfits. But that is not what we're seeing. What we're seeing is a fan base that cannot enjoy their own artist without simultaneously attacking the other one. And when your identity is defined entirely by the person you say you hate, that person owns you. Full stop. That person lives inside your brain and pays no rent. That person is more central to your artist than your artist is. And that, right there, is why Toronto Tonight tells us everything about where this beef actually stands in 2026. Let me pivot for a second and talk about the algorithm, because I know some of y'all watching this are creators, and you need to hear this. What happened tonight in Toronto is going to move the needle on this beef for another 2 months minimum. Every clipper is going to grab this footage. Every commentary channel is going to break it down. Every reaction podcast is going to react to it. And the algorithm is going to feed all of it to millions of people who were about to move on from this whole storyline. This one guy, this one speaker, this one saxophone soundtracked beatdown, just reignited the entire war for another cycle. And Kendrick did not have to lift a finger. He did not have to say a word. He did not have to post a thing. His music, playing out of a random speaker on a random street corner, did all the work for him. That is what artistic gravity looks like. That is what it looks like when the culture carries you. And meanwhile, on the Drake side, what do we get? We get more OVO Twitter meltdowns. We get more stream count debates. We get more "Iceman actually did the numbers" arguments that ignore the fact that Iceman had to run 3 separate deluxe versions to stay competitive. We get more academics-adjacent gossip loops. And we get more clips like the one we just watched, where a Drake fan physically attacks the very existence of a Kendrick song being played in public. That is the state of the discourse in 2026. And if you are a Drake fan watching this and you are honest with yourself, deep down, in the quiet part of your brain, you know it looks bad. You know it looks unhinged. You know it does not look like the fan base of a winner. It looks like the fan base of somebody who cannot stop staring at the guy in second place, mistaking that guy in second place for himself. Now let me get to the biggest, hardest, most uncomfortable truth this whole clip forced onto the timeline tonight. And I want you to lock in for this, because this is the part that is going to make some people mad, and it is going to make other people finally admit what they have been quietly thinking for months. Drake does not own Toronto anymore. He rents it. He rents it on a month-to-month lease. And every time one of his fans crashes out like this in his own backyard, that lease gets shorter. Kendrick, without ever moving to the city, without ever claiming the city, without ever needing the city, has quietly, gradually, systematically become a bigger cultural presence in downtown Toronto than the guy who was supposed to run it. And if you don't believe me, ask that speaker. Ask that saxophone. Ask that crowd. Ask the man who is currently sitting on his couch with an ice pack on his eye wondering how in the world his loyalty got him this far this bad. Here's the thing, and I want to close on this, because I saw a comment tonight that stuck with me. Somebody wrote, "Bro really crashed out for his favorite artist and got sent back to reality by the very city that raised that artist." And I laughed, but then I thought about it, and I realized that comment might be the single most accurate summary of the entire Drake-Kendrick era that has ever been written. Because that is what happened tonight. Not just to this guy. Not just to this speaker. But to the entire OVO narrative. It got sent back to reality. By the very city that supposedly raised it. So the question I'm going to leave you with, and I really do want to hear your thoughts, is this. If Drake cannot even get his own hometown to defend a Bluetooth speaker in his honor, if his own city cannot muster a single crowd to stand up for him when a Kendrick song plays through a portable amp, what exactly does he still own? What is the actual footprint? What is the actual territory? Because from where I'm sitting, from the footage I just watched, from the receipts that keep printing themselves every single week, the receipts are already printed on this whole thing. The audience has voted. The city has voted. The block has voted. And the speaker, ironically, may be the loudest ballot Toronto has cast in the last 2 years. And one more thing before I let y'all go, because this one matters. If you are a young hip-hop fan watching this, if you are somebody who just started paying attention to the culture in the last year or two, let this Toronto footage be a permanent lesson. These artists do not know you. They do not owe you anything. They do not fight for you. They will not stand next to you in a courtroom, they will not sit next to you in a hospital, they will not show up when your life gets hard because of a decision you made on their behalf. So the very least you can do, the absolute floor, is not go to war with strangers in public over a song. Play what you want to play. Skip what you want to skip. Argue online if you must. But do not, under any circumstance, throw a speaker. Do not confront a crowd. Do not make yourself the main character of somebody else's viral clip because your favorite rapper got out-rapped 2 years ago. That is not loyalty. That is not devotion. That is not culture. That is a symptom, and tonight in Toronto we watched that symptom get diagnosed the hard way. Drop me a comment. Tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me if you saw this footage the same way. Tell me if you're a Toronto native and you want to add context to what actually happened out there tonight. Tell me if you're a Drake fan and you want to defend the speaker smasher, because I want to hear that argument specifically. I want to hear the honest, sincere, non-ironic defense of throwing a Bluetooth speaker in 2026 over a Kendrick Lamar song. Come at me. The comments section is open. The receipts are already printed. And if you like this breakdown, you already know what to do: hit subscribe, hit the bell, and roll straight into the last video I dropped, because if you thought this was wild, wait until you see what the Iceman streaming numbers actually look like once you strip the deluxe drops out. That one hits different. Let's go.